Hadoke.
My name is Tom Newman. Now, I've been trying to convince myself that a week ago I didn't discover that my dad wasn't actually a recently deceased door-to-door salesman, but was, in fact, an alien of a superior species from a distant galaxy. Yeah, I wish I'd succeeded because it sounds bonkers. But I can't. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sending you this message. Now listen, I am of sound mind, rational person. I am. I passed all my GCSEs, I'm paying off my mortgage, and I'm excellent at putting up shelves. Oh, I'm seeing a doctor. Yeah, Jan, she's brilliant. Well, no, I'm no slouch at my job either.
Nurse Newman?
What is it? Emotionally fragile patient in need of just the right mix of medical skill and human kindness.
I have an illness which is causing me pain.
Oh, quick, take this medicine and you'll be fine.
Oh, I feel better already. My, you're amazing.
That's what I'm here for.
Swoon.
Well, okay, maybe there's a bit less you're amazing and a bit more, oops, I've just been sick into your hair, but come on. In A&E, I endure blood and trauma and drunk football fans nearly every day. Fantasizing helps me cope. But this? No, this is no fantasy. A series of mind-blowing events which led me here, right now, to my dad's shed. To send a message into space. An appeal for clemency, which will, if I'm right, and I hope to God that I am, save mankind from imminent and total destruction.
And the first time I ever saw him, I think he was talking to a cat. Honestly.
A cat?
Knowing what I know now, this was probably my last moment of normality. Stale sandwiches, warm white wine, the aftermath of Dad's funeral.
He certainly was an eccentric. That car of his must have been 100 years old.
He always patched up that old banger rather than buy a new one. It used to irritate me, but now I look at that car, buckled panels and unmatched headlamps. Oh, I'd give anything to... Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. It's good to remember. Isn't it, Tom? Tom?
I was trying not to remember, keeping my thoughts in check. Washing the cups, cling filming the cheese, rearranging the herbs and spices into alphabetical order. But it didn't stop Dad going round and round in my head. My dad, who made up stories to cheer me up.
Oh, Tom, what have you done? That looks sore. Now, do you know what they do about grazed knees on Mars?
My technophobe dad with his 70s shirts and strange mannerisms.
Hello.
Dad, this is Jan. The Jan that I've been seeing.
Ah, you must be the doctor. Nice to meet you. Better not pull your fringe when saying hello, eh?
No. Better not.
My dad, who left without saying goodbye. I played out our last encounter in my head.
Brilliant night, son.
Wow. Thanks, Dad.
I think the highlight for me was when you drank me under the table, saved the life of that pretty girl who was choking on an olive, and then got carried out aloft as the entire pub applauded.
Yep, I have moves.
I'm proud of you, son.
If only. The reality was more, how shall I put this? Oh, yes, rubbish.
Tom, it's Dad. So, are we going to meet on Friday or what? I thought we were going to meet. You promised, Tom, and you... Well, look, just call me, okay? I really need to see you.
I didn't call him. I was up to my neck at work and stuff. Friday came and went, and then so did Dad.
Tom?
Tom.
What?
I think the Galangal is fine where it is.
Oh, I was just trying to...
I know. Look, I think you should stay here tonight. Do you understand? Earthling.
What?
I said I think your mum needs you here.
Oh, I thought you said it. Oh, never mind.
I've got to put in a few hours at work tonight, and you and your mum need some time together. Just the two of you. She's given your old room the once over.
That's all I need. Spend the night of Dad's funeral in the place he used to read me bedtime stories.
Come here.
It's fine. No, I'm fine. You're right. I need to be strong for Mum.
You need to be strong for yourself, too.
To be honest, it didn't matter where I stayed because I knew I wasn't going to be sleeping. Mum, of course, helped to keep my emotions in check by bringing down a big box of memories.
Oh, I love this photo. Our first anniversary. Gosh, I'd forgotten. Look at your dad. Dressed head to toe in red.
Well, didn't half look daft in the 60s.
Oh, no, that was daft. Even for the 60s. Look at the smile on his face here. What's that? Must be your 8th birthday?
Well, it's definitely not my 6th. I've still not forgiven him for that. I hadn't thought about my 6th birthday for years. Dad was frequently a day or two late back from his sales trips, but this time he vanished for 3 whole weeks and then turned up in a daze with no memory of where he'd been. Mum did her best on the day, but I still remember the haunted, guilty look that clouded her face as she brought my birthday cake through.
He could do the strangest things, but he wasn't malicious. It's more like his mind was elsewhere. Oh! I wondered where these were. Shed keys.
Was much in there?
No idea.
After Mum went to bed, I stayed downstairs, jangling the shed key in my hands, until eventually I decided to do it. To venture forth to a strange new world, I boldly went where no man, bar one, had gone before. Down the garden to the shed. Dad's inner sanctum. And so this was it. I'd always wondered what Dad got up to in here, tried to peek in. There was always newspaper on the windows, but now, at last, all was to be revealed. I unlocked the door, opened it, and saw a load of old tat. Oh. But in the centre of the room was a telescope, pointing through the skylight at the only glass that didn't have paper tape to it. Never had him down as a stargazer. Still, I needed to have a firkle, see what else was here. Stationery drawer. Ow! Well, at least now I knew where he kept his drawing pins. There was his collection of old movies on VHS. Always at the cutting edge of technology was Dad. And as for the movies, I thought he'd chucked these out years ago. Attack of the Giant Octopus. Women of Venus. Space Hitler? We'd sometimes watch these movies when I couldn't sleep and he came home late from a trip. Warm milk and biscuits, cheesy American B-movies, and just me and Dad when Mum was asleep upstairs. Pull yourself together, Tom. Dad? What?
Tom.
Dad's voice was coming from what looked like a TV remote, but with fewer buttons. It lit up when I held it.
Activated. Termination in 54 hours. To hear messages featuring
Tom.
Please confirm.
Confirm?
This is Agent 221163. Final report. Please do not recall me. I do not wish to return to the homeworld. I like it here. In Earth terms, my time of return is also my 70th birthday, which I should spend with my adopted family, my wife, Wendy, my son, Tom. Do not activate the termination plan, I urge you. Spare planet Earth, spare its people, spare my family. I know you've programmed me not to be able to use advanced Earth technology in order to warn them, so I'm going to break with protocol and tell my son the truth on Friday unless I receive a clemency signal from Homeworld.
For the first time in a week, a smile crept onto my face. Dad's voice.
Access to messages. Please confirm.
Confirm? Replay message? And it worked. So I navigated my way through the audio files using voice commands. Enter.
I have assumed the identity of a 20-year-old man called Russell Newman. I've had some luck communicating with some humans. I learned very quickly that the ritual fringe-pulling greeting of our people gets somewhat lost in translation here. I probably should have learned after the 5th punch, but it's like a reflex.
Thinking about it now, he didn't sound 20. Sounded more like he did last week, but maybe that was to do with the age of the recording or my imagination or something. There was years' worth of this stuff, hundreds of entries where my dad seemed to be saying that he was a superior being from a distant planet, beamed down to Earth.
My metamorphosis into human form was a success. Apart from a malfunction with my little fingers, they just don't quite assimilate.
I thought it was some kind of role-play thing at first, but the facts were so particular and odd. Like him claiming not to come from Mars or Saturn, but rather a planet called...
Alan.
Alan?
In the constellation of Jim. We, the people of Alan, have dedicated ourselves to the nurture of inferior species. I've successfully received my orders. I will indeed acquire the evidence needed to prove that mankind is worthy. I shall travel far and wide.
Salesman.
Please peruse the enclosed files. Areas of natural beauty. The Grand Canyon in America. The polar ice caps, although they won't be here for long. Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Not sure about the last one, actually, but people seem to like it, so what do I know? I also enclose great works of art, the music of Beethoven, the complete works of Shakespeare, and a DVD box set of Bagpuss. Hopefully these will persuade you, my masters, that mankind is worthy of saving.
His oddness, his sudden, inexplicable death. What about that missed 6th birthday? He wasn't being useless. He was on an important mission to make a case for the preservation of mankind to his galactic overlords.
Emergency report. I picked up some strange signals on my monitoring equipment and discovered that I was being tailed by a crack commando squad from the War Council of the planet Jeremy. Our enemies from Jeremy disguise themselves as black-suited humans. I've led the men in black as far away from the family unit as I can. I planned to evade my pursuers as worked, but now I have to go back. To go back home and explain where I have been and why I missed my son's birthday. I've been away for 3 weeks. They would have been worried. Still no luck communicating with the cats. Maybe Earth cats aren't the same as ours. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I've never got anything from a cat on this planet apart from eyes that say, "Can I eat that, please?"
I stayed up all night listening, hearing about Dad's mission, the dangers, the other aliens among us.
Beware the beings from the planet Keith, usually disguised as traffic wardens.
Until...
Termination in 46 hours.
Ross?
Oh, Mum!
Oh, God, Tom, you scared me. I heard noises, saw movement, and I didn't know what to think.
Sorry, Mum, I was just...
I thought he was back. I thought your dad was... God, I know that's impossible. I'm stupid.
No, you're not, Mum. I should have told you that I was going to sort the shed out, but once I'd got in here, I just got lost in it all. Come on, I'll take you inside. During that trudge across the garden, in the cold light of morning, I realised that I wasn't thinking about Dad as a dead man anymore. All right, so I was thinking of him as some sort of galactic David Attenborough or extraterrestrial National Trust executive, but so what? He's alive!
Is Vincent okay?
Of course. Oh, I'm sorry, Mum. Once I've got the bit between my teeth.
Oh, don't be daft. I knew it wasn't him, really, but, you know, you wake up groggy and you're not sure what's real and what's a dream. Your subconscious is cruel. I've dreamt he's still alive every day since...
I was bursting to tell Mum what I'd discovered, but, you know, telling Mum her late husband was a benign extraterrestrial spy wasn't something I'd ever rehearsed, so this might need a bit of careful handling. Do you know what this is?
Looks like a remote control. Did you find that in the shed?
It's a digital recorder. Funny, it was working before.
Well, there's no way it was your dad's. He was hopeless with technology, remember? Broke anything remotely electronic.
Mum, Dad used to tell me crazy stories at bedtime when I was younger. He said the reason he kept going away wasn't for work, but because he was from outer space and he had to keep going back there.
Did you know that 1 in every 30,000 people on Earth is a spy from my planet? The purple planet with the clever cats. The planet that must not be named.
Well, now I knew why that was.
Well, he felt guilty being away all the time, so he made up a playful fiction. I don't think he expected you to believe it.
I hadn't believed it at the time, and yet now I realised that Dad had been trying to tell me the truth all along. And what about what the machine had said before?
Termination in 46 hours.
I had assumed termination meant that the machine was running down on power, but the more I thought about it in relation to the messages, of course, the termination was meant for us, for mankind.
I cannot understand why my evidence has not swayed you. My mission is due to end in 1 month. Please, if I've not persuaded you, extend my time frame so that I can find what it is I seem to be missing that will convince you to spare this beautiful, precious world. Or at least eat the fish and chips I've transmitted to you.
Mum would hardly get her head round the whole, you lived with an alien for 50 years, never mind the, oh, and by the way, his people are probably going to destroy us all on Wednesday. And while it all made a weird kind of sense, I needed more than that. I'm a medical man. I needed some hard scientific facts, especially if I was going to bring up the existence of a planet called Alan with my mum.
Oh, do you need cubicle 2, Tom?
No, it's all right, thanks, Kay. I've got to pop down to the mortuary to see if see if they need any help with the people.
Oh, careful, creepy Pete doesn't try to fix you up with one of his friends.
Yeah, okay. Pete the pathologist, and the guy who'd done the post-mortem on Dad. I'd once managed to hook Pete up with a girl who didn't mind dandruff and conversations about rigor mortis, which meant he had something approaching a relationship for 3 or 4 weeks. A record for Pete. So Pete owed me.
Hello? Pete?
Hello? We're over here.
Difficult to see in this light.
This is Alfred.
Oh, hello, Alfred. Oh, Alfred's a corpse.
Yes. I know all the names, Tom. You see, the dead need a friend. You never hear a bad word from a dead person. They don't lie, they don't cheat, they don't steal.
That's presumably because they're, dead?
Considering most of our time is spent being dead, you think we'd be kinder to our silent brethren. We shouldn't be afraid. The dead are, frankly, misrepresented by a biased media.
Right. Anyway, look, I wanted to talk to you about my dad.
Yes. Excellent torso. I was talking to him.
Yeah, they've told you to stop doing that, haven't they?
I talk to all my friends.
Of course you do. Anyway, was there anything unusual about his death?
Is there any reason you want to know this, Tom?
Just asking, I suppose. I'm interested.
Such morbid curiosity puzzles me. I mean, it excites me a little too, I won't deny it. But my coroner's report was pretty authoritative.
I'm just trying to come to terms with it, Peter. And, science helps me to cope with emotion.
Admirable. Well, I'm not supposed to do this, but seeing as it's you, quite unusual. Your dad had clinodactyly.
Oh, that's...
curvature of the little finger.
Yes.
Quite rare. Only about 1 in 30,000 people have it. Nothing to do with cause of death, but interesting from a collector's point of view.
1 in 30,000?
But other than that, well, he just switched off. Probably around midnight on the 23rd.
Midnight? On the day of his 70th birthday?
Oh, really? Oh, beautiful symmetry. I shall put that in my journal.
You have a journal? Of dead people?
Oh, yes.
Right, well, thanks, Pete. You've been really helpful. I owe you a pint.
I don't drink. Alcohol makes me weird.
A pint of formaldehyde, then. On me. Laters.
Pete was weird, but he knew his stuff. In fact, the reason he knew his stuff was because he was weird, but... well, it confirmed what I suspected. All the facts pointed in the direction, albeit using a crooked little finger, that my dad was an alien and still alive. The planet's about to be destroyed side issue was a bit of a bummer, though, and somewhat outside my field of expertise. I was stumped, so I had to tell Jan. She'd know what to do. She'd use her professional head and clinical skill and calmness in a crisis to sort this out.
Tom, is that you?
Jan, my dad was an alien. And as a result of this knowledge, I've overcome all the resultant childhood baggage and the trauma of his death.
Excellent. Let's kiss, and then we'll go and watch the football together and get married in time for tea.
I knew you'd understand.
Well, that's how I'd intended it to go, but shock horror. Imaginary scenario not quite matching up to the reality alert.
Tom, is that you? I've been calling you.
Yeah, I need to tell you something.
Oh, God, Tom, you look terrible. Have you even slept?
Jan, I've just found something out. My dad was an alien.
What?
All right, no, yeah, you'd better sit down. Right, sit down. Sit
what are you
down.
doing?
No, okay, right, now. My dad was an alien. Does it sound any better seated?
Tom.
Oh, no, I thought not. Look. I found this device in his shed. Dad's recorded all this stuff on it about his mission to report on mankind. But his mission failed, which was why he was returned to his planet. Because the aliens found us not worthy. And now they're going to destroy the Earth.
I think it's you who needs to sit down.
I haven't got time! We need to find a way to convince Dad's overlord somehow. Use this machine to send a message, but a message that finishes the task Dad failed to. You need to help me find out what it was that Dad was missing. If we discovered that, we'd fulfill his task, and then they wouldn't kill us. Bonus!
Tom, this is grief talking.
I thought that at first, but the science fits. Right, he had clinodactyly. That's a hard medical fact. And that's mentioned in his recordings. And more importantly, Jan, I heard Dad's voice. This is the device. Listen. It doesn't seem to be working in here either. Like it did last night in the shed. It lit up there and everything.
I don't know what to say.
Is it something about a football match and marriage?
Have you said anything to your mum?
No, she was a bit upset because I was in the shed and she thought I was Dad, which she said was silly. And I thought, oh, you think that's silly? Why is that any more silly than him being an alien? Which he is. And not only that, he's one from a planet called Alan. I know! And so therefore any definition of silly really needs re-examining now anyway, but...
Stop! You're trying to make sense of a senseless loss. I understand. Your mum is angry, but you... Tom, there's a hurt little boy still inside you crying out. I'll make you a cup of tea and let's talk.
Tea? She was making me tea. Everyone seemed to want to make me tea. Then I remembered one of Dad's recordings.
The plan of the Jeremy people is to take over England first by putting a sleeping agent in tea bags. Everyone in England drinks tea. Then they will assume the identities of the humans one by one.
Yeah, tea. Lovely. You make me tea. And biscuits. Oh, I love biscuits too. I love a biscuit.
Okay. I won't be long.
While she was distracted doing that in the kitchen, I made my escape. Well, if Jan didn't believe me, no one would. If that really was Jan. First, I walked for hours and hours just thinking about Dad's recordings. Then I ducked into a cafe in case I was being followed. Cappuccino, not tea. Gather my thoughts. It was there that the enormity of it all hit me. I'd counted on Jan having the answer. She usually did, but now I just felt a bit.
Anything else, sir?
Oh, so yeah, could I just get the bill, please?
It's been paid for, sir.
What?
It's been paid for.
No, I don't understand. I owe you for 2 cappuccinos.
The lady who was sitting on that table over there offered to buy your coffees. She's gone now.
I didn't even notice anyone was sitting there. But why did she pay my bill?
I think it's because you were crying, sir.
Oh, was that obvious?
Well, you had a very wet face, and it's not raining in here.
No.
And it was one of them snotty cries too, wasn't it?
I suppose it was, yes.
And you have been through about 30 napkins.
Yes. Sorry about that.
It's okay. You don't have to apologise.
I was thinking about my dad. He died recently.
I'm sorry.
I was also thinking of the imminent destruction of the planet Earth, but I didn't want to tell her that.
Well, the lady, when she came to pay a bill, she pointed at you and said you were clearly having a bad day, so the least you could do would be to pay for your coffees.
I don't know what to say.
Sometimes the smallest act makes the biggest difference.
Oh, who said that?
I did, just now.
Oh, sorry, I thought it was a quote from a philosopher, like Confucius or someone.
Nope, just a sentence from a waitress called Chelsea.
Thanks, Chelsea.
You're welcome. Now, as you haven't had to pay, why not do something nice yourself, like leave me a tip?
Oh, yes. Here you go.
Oh, thanks. Bye now.
Bye. Smallest act makes the biggest difference.
That was it. Suddenly it was obvious. That's what Dad had been missing. The small acts, the little things. Never mind Beethoven or the theory of relativity. Any species around long enough will advance technologically or create something to entertain it. But to help someone less fortunate than you, at no gain to yourself. Well, I hadn't found anything like that in Dad's recordings. In looking for the bigger picture, he'd forgotten the beauty of the individual brushstrokes. I needed to find small, beautiful acts of kindness. And I was pretty well placed to know exactly where to start looking.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'll go and find that doctor for you. I'm so sorry again, Mrs. Crocker, for your loss. You see some terrible things in a hospital, but humbling things too. I suppose you see more of those as a nurse than as a travelling salesman. And who needs fancy alien tech when you've got a phone with a mic? I just needed to check if it had recorded okay, so I nipped into an empty cubicle.
I'd like something good to come from John's death, so look, here's his donor card.
Oh,
What are you doing?
nothing.
After you dashed out this morning, I called work to tell them you were ill, and they said you were here. What are you doing?
No, that's my phone. No.
I know that he would want
Is that the poor woman who lost her son?
family if he could.
You've been recording her.
Look, I know what it looks like, but before you judge me, I did it to save the world. So that's all right then, isn't it?
Tom, this puts me in a very awkward position.
But I don't want you to be compromised, so why don't I just quit then?
Now listen, do not do anything hasty. I think I might have come up with something. A solution to your dad's mission.
Really?
Yes. Give me a minute. Just stay here, okay?
Jan made a call to someone she said could help us, before taking me down to a part of the hospital I'd never been to before. Down the stairs, along the identical clinical corridors, until we got to a door with a sign that said, Dr. Stephen Estram.
Come in. Close the door behind you.
What was this?
Come in. Close the door behind you.
Hang on, haven't we already done...
Tom, this is Steve. I think he can help.
Hello, Tom.
Why is he dressed all in black?
I wear a suit to work. I'm a psychiatrist.
Yeah, well, you know who else wears a black suit to work, don't you?
Who?
Men in black, alien agents.
Dr. Gifford, Jan, has filled me in a bit. There's nothing to be afraid of, Tom. Now, these men in black, I'm very interested in them. They are from this planet you've come across, is that correct? The planet Alan?
Don't be ridiculous. They're not from the planet Alan. They're from the planet Jeremy.
There's a planet Jeremy.
Yes! They're the arch enemy of the planet Alan. They infiltrate governments and they replace people with lookalikes. They can only be killed by water. It's all in Dad's recordings. They were the shady types he was trying to evade when he missed my 6th birthday.
Sit down, Tom. Tell me about your dad. I understand he died on his birthday. And birthdays are important, aren't they? Like this 6th birthday of yours.
This is you, Jen, isn't it? Trying to distract me by getting some fake psychiatrist with a fake American accent.
I haven't got an American accent. I'm from Chipping Sodbury.
Jan, I am trying to save the world, but these men in black, it's in their interest to stop me. They've been monitoring me since the beginning. Remember? There were loads of them at Dad's funeral.
They were undertakers.
That's what they want you to think. Look, I've got to complete Dad's mission before the death squads from the Council of Jeremy take me out.
What are you doing?
Jan, I love you, but I only have 27 hours and 43 minutes to save the Earth.
Tom, wait, I need you...
Look, I know all this sounds mad, by the way, but it's true.
Tom!
I'm slamming the door again.
I had no choice, really. Suddenly nothing else seemed as important as completing Dad's mission. The computer thingy wasn't working, but I'd made a note of how long I had left, so I knew what it'd be saying.
Termination in 26 hours.
You always hear stories about random acts of kindness and such like, but just try happening upon one by chance. Impossible. So, I had to be bold, proactive.
This seat taken, mate?
No, by all means, take it.
Thanks. Has anyone done anything nice to you recently?
Not that way inclined, mate. Thanks all the same.
Okay.
Then I saw this thing on Twitter about a war veteran who died without any relatives, so strangers were encouraged to attend his funeral. This was exactly the sort of thing I was after. But when I got there, everywhere I looked, people dressed in black, the agents of Jeremy. I legged it, sharpish. Desperate measure. I only had one option left. This was the 21st century. Dad may have been a technophobe. He had trouble with a sat-nav map of Wigan, so there was no way he'd ever have negotiated his way around the World Wide Web. I, on the other hand, have the internet on my phone. So in desperation, I tweeted. Change the world if you can. Tweet me the moments that make you proud to be human. Hashtag small and beautiful things. Send. Oh, damn. I typed of instead of if, idiot. Too late now. I had no idea if this would work anyway. But if it did, I needed to get the device working. And there was only one place where that had happened. I needed to go back to the shed. Time was running out.
Termination in 6 hours.
Oh, damn. Coming out of the house, through the dark, were 2 harsh beams of light, which seemed to be emitting from shadowy, silhouetted figures. These could only be the sentinels of the Council of Jeremy, come to sabotage my plans and subject me to terrible experiments.
Tom? Tom, is that you?
Or alternatively, Jan and Mum with torches.
Tom?
Yes, it's me.
We were worried about you. Where have you been?
Keep back! I'm armed.
Armed?
Yeah, 6-pack of mineral water. Volcanic, it says here. Doppelganger substitutes from Jeremy come a cropper in contact with water, don't they, Jan?
I've told your mum everything. Listen to yourself.
I'm just doing what Dad wanted, Mum. I know he's probably not coming back, but that doesn't matter. His legacy does. And if I'm wrong, then so what? But if I'm right, then the world ends at midnight, so I'll just have enough time to say I told you so before... Give me the key to this padlock, Mum, please. Look, the device only works when I'm on my own with it in the shed. Look, maybe it's some sort of security measure, so the thing can never be witnessed in use by anyone from Earth.
But you're from Earth, Tom.
Well, it was Dad's. Maybe it was tuned into his DNA and I'm the closest match or something. I don't know, it's alien.
Tom, stop this. It's just an old telly remote. Let's go inside.
Wait. Tom. You're saying your machine only works because you share your dad's DNA?
Wendy, don't.
I have to. What if it wasn't? What if... Tom, you know this. Deep down, you know this. You were only little, but you heard us. You heard us arguing. Anything, Russ. You were away all the time, and I get lonely.
I'm away working, providing. The least I can expect is for you to be faithful while I am.
It was 7 years ago, a one-night thing.
Who is this bloke, anyway, this Jeremy?
Jeremy Council. You never met him. I don't even know him anymore. He moved away not long after.
Yeah. What about Tom? The timing. He might not even...
Russ, don't! Where are you going? Russ! Tom, I thought you were in bed. How much did you... Tom! Tom! But we never spoke of it. I tried to talk to you the next day, but couldn't get through. He never accepted that he wasn't your dad, and I was in no hurry to prove otherwise, so we left it.
You must have buried it, Tom. And all this has come out now because of how suddenly he died. Because you never talked to him about it, and because deep down you worried that he might not really be your dad.
The memories flooded back, surfing a wave of nausea that crashed against my stomach. I did remember. Perhaps I always had. For the first time in days, my mind stopped racing and my blood stopped flowing, and I just stopped.
Tom?
Dad. Come inside, Tom.
So you see, Steve said that this is repressed trauma. You overheard that argument, and then your dad missed your birthday, and here were all the seeds of a fantasy, an extreme manifestation of the grieving process.
It makes sense, Tom. This man, Jeremy Council, becomes the Council of Jeremy. Dad's trips away become a mission to another planet rather than just times when you felt neglected.
It's a hard thing to hear, Tom, but...
I've never found out about the paternity thing for sure, and we talked about telling you...
I am not your father!
Tom, look, I'm going to go and call Steve. He'll help. We'll all help.
I'm so sorry, Tom. We wouldn't do anything to hurt you. It seems such a stupid thing to have done, but at the time... What is that?
It was. It's my phone. I'll switch it. Oh, blimey. My tweet had gone viral. There it was, being quoted and forwarded and replied to, and the traffic was piling up and being retweeted and flying around cyberspace and gathering momentum and creating more traffic and... Small, beautiful things. The world. The human race at its kindest, funniest and most randomly beautiful. All there, on my timeline. And some videos about cats.
What is it, Tom?
It doesn't matter.
What?
It doesn't matter whether he was my dad or not. I am who I am because of him, whether he's biologically mine, whether he's dead, alive, or ascended to a planet that has a damn silly name and where people talk to cats. He's my dad. And I deserve the chance to say goodbye to him. Mum?
It's the key to the padlock. Go on, Tom. Save the world. I know you can.
I knew it! And she was the person who told me that Santa wasn't real. But Mum got it, which meant I was right all along. That was the good news. The bad news was that I now only had...
25 minutes. Termination in 25 minutes.
Lo and behold, the device worked first time, in exactly the same way that it hadn't when anyone else was around. And it looked like it was going to be easy to upload the messages and links and video files from my Twitter feed onto it because it linked to my phone first time.
Let me in, Tom. It's me.
I've locked it.
It's tipping down out here. Well, let me in.
What? You're getting wet?
Yes. But I don't care. I'm here to help you, Tom. I'll always be here to help you. I'm not leaving till I know you're okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, but stay back. I've got cheese.
What?
I've made cheese sandwiches for a packed lunch, thank goodness. So back off. Even if you're not an agent of Jeremy, you might be from the planet Trevor. Oh, I've heard all about them. Warlike and duplicitous, but smother them in dairy products and they're subdued. So don't think I'll be afraid of using this cheddar.
I'm not from the planet Trevor, Tom. Nor the planet Jeremy, not even the planet, I don't know, Marmaduke. It's me, Jan, your girlfriend. And I'm sorry.
There's a planet Marmaduke?
Probably.
Oh, Jan, you need to go. I need to send this. The machine won't work while you're here.
Okay. But can I hear them? The things you're sending? You're trying to give these aliens faith in mankind. You've always given me that faith, Tom. See if it works on me.
Okay. Okay, there's just about enough time.
And so we looked at the stuff on my phone, holding hands in the dark. We witnessed people from all over the world doing nice, kind, altruistic things for each other. People who'd responded to my summons and shown that despite war and poverty and reality TV, mankind is worth a punt.
That was lovely, Tom.
I just need to record a message asking for clemency and upload these files. Hopefully they'll listen. Hopefully it'll help Dad's case, but I need to send it now.
Okay. I'll wait for you.
Termination in
15 minutes.
Prepare to record file.
Preparing.
My name is Tom Newman, and I've been trying to convince myself that a week ago I didn't discover that my dad wasn't actually a recently deceased door-to-door salesman.
Termination in 2 minutes and
I don't know
counting.
how much sense all this will make to you lot up there. After all, you attack other species with Wensleydale, but don't destroy us. And this last bit, this is a message for Russell Newman, the dad. I don't care if you weren't my biological dad. You still did enough to earn the title, even though you vanished and you weren't there and you sometimes talked to cats and pulled people's hair. You were my dad. You taught me not to be scared of anything, and you taught me to see the best in people. You didn't fail in your mission. So long as I'm here on Earth, doing what I do, your time here wasn't wasted. And just wanted to say goodbye. Goodbye, Dad. I love you. Computer save and update.
Saved and updated.
And send.
Message sent.
Well, if the world is going to end, I may as well spend it with the people I love who are still here.
Incoming message.
Tom, it's your dad. Message received. They're listening, Tom. They're listening. And I won't be able to do this ever again. And I shouldn't be doing it now, but one last message, eh? From the Purple Planet with the clever cat. I love you, son. And I just wanted to say that I'm proud of you. And that if I could give you one piece of advice, always carry a baby bell about your person. Those pesky bounders from Trevor get everywhere. And remember, I'll always be your dad no matter what. Goodbye, son.
Dad.
Preparing for termination in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Termination point reached. Shutting down.
Tom?
Mission accomplished.
Well, I suppose if it was going to happen, it would have by now.
They listened.
And you don't think I'm an agent of Jeremy?
No, of course not.
Good.
Well, it's pouring down. If you're an agent of Jeremy, you'd have been vaporised by now.
Oh, thanks. Okay. Let's go inside. Are you okay, Tom?
Yeah. The world doesn't end just because your dad dies. Come on. Let's get into the dry. Oh, and you can help me eat these cheese sandwiches.
Oh, I don't really want the cheese.
Yeah, I'd be happier if you did.
In The Dad Who Fell to Earth, a complete work of fiction, none of it was true, Tom was played by me, and by the actor Toby Hadoke, Russell by Ronald Pickup, and Jan by Shirley Houston. Wendy was Alexandra Mathie, Pete Lee Fennick, and Chelsea Zoe Iqbal. The completely fictitious drama, there's no such thing as aliens, was written by Toby Hadoke, just off the top of his head. None of it's true. But if anyone offers you a cup of tea, turn it down. Take the coffee. Just take the coffee. And it was directed in Salford by Charlotte Riches. Watch the skies.